Hey guys, it's me, the Bombay Chef Varun Inamdar, and welcome to Rajshri Food. Well, today's recipe is an absolutely simple recipe. This is a spicy powder which is served as an accompaniment with idlis, dosas, and uttappams. I'm sure most of you have guessed it by now. This is Milagai Podi or gunpowder. Now, this is a recipe which can be kind of moderated in terms of its spice level. It's completely personal. You can spice it up, you can keep it moderate, you can keep it absolutely low on spice. Choice is completely yours. Well, to play around, we have a few lentils to begin with. The first one, of course, is chana dal. Let's begin with roasting this. Well, roasting these dals or roasting all these ingredients rather is a very important and critical step for several reasons. One, because that is how it is traditionally done. Two, because the shelf life or the keeping quality of this kind of just increases. It doubles up, it can stay for months. But trust me, if you make it right, this won't last more than a few weeks in your kitchen because it's so tasty. Let's roast this right. Now, while roasting, it's also important to kind of check the nuttiness of the lentils or the ingredients. You do not want it to kind of change in terms of its color, but the nuttiness in terms of its flavor or aroma has to be just there. Also, another thing that you kind of need to note here is, because I'm making this in a very small quantity or a small batch, because we're a very small house of just 2 or 3 people, I can do this in the same pan or the same wok or the same kadhai. But in case you're making it for a larger family or you're making it for like a commercial business, ensure that you roast every ingredient separately because the roasting time will change or differ. Remember this. The dal has become nice and nutty at this stage. Next that goes in is urad dal. If you've noticed, I'm also kind of roasting it as per its size. So chana dal goes in first, next goes in urad dal, and finally I'll add in the sesame seeds. It's been around 8 minutes on low flame. Let's add in white sesame seeds, which are untoasted. Of course, now this is the time when they get toasted. Let's mix all of this well. Well, sesame seeds will not take a lot of time to get roasted for 2 reasons. One, because the pan is at its ultimate heat at this point in time. Also, because we have lentils thrown in already, which are nice and hot, this will all get heated beautifully well. Well, at this stage, you can define the Milagai Podi in terms of its flavor. Now, in case you want to make a lemon flavored one, which is also something that I've eaten in a lot of idli houses, I've also eaten curry flavored one. So at this stage, you can add in lemon rind, or if you want to make the curry leaf version, you can add in lots of curry leaf at this stage. In that case, what happens, the lemon one kind of becomes a little pale yellow in color. The curry leaf one becomes almost like, how do I explain? It's almost pastel green in color, but it all gets accentuated the moment you add in oil. Now, how do you use this primarily? Now, let's not also forget the roasting part of it. I can just keep talking about Milagai Podi otherwise. Well, coming back to the serving. Now, this is an absolute ideal accompaniment, like I said earlier, with idlis or uttappams or dosas. But let's not restrain or restrict this right there. You can add this on top of dhoklas. You can make a wonderful condiment like, of course, we're going to make it towards the end of the video, but you can actually create it like a smearing chutney with parathas, with theplas. You can smear it on top of dhoklas. You can also make wonderful paneer tikkas with something like this. Make your usual paneer tikkas and just sprinkle this powder on top and see how the flavor profile changes. In terms of flavor, it's like roasted dal, which is converted into a powder, which is either lemony or curry leaf flavored or spicy. Choice is completely yours. What we are making today is the absolute traditional version, which is with chilies. So coming back to the roasting, of course the flame, this comes down in a bowl so that all of this can now come down to room temperature. And while this is coming down, let's turn the flame on again and add in just a few drops of oil. Now, this could be sesame oil, coconut oil, gingerly oil. Choice is completely yours. Let's add in chilies. It's important to snip off the stalks of these dried red chilies. Now, these are the ones that have wonderful color, not too much spice. But in case you're the ones who like this a little spicy, you can mix your chilies and create your own little combination. Let's roast this well. Now, roasting chilies can be extremely tricky because you don't know when they get burnt and when they get beautifully roasted. There's a very thin line, but if you're doing this for the first time or if you're a fresher in the kitchen, low heat is your way to go. The dried red chilies are roasted and ready. With this, off goes the flame, and this too gets transferred in the same bowl. Ensure that the chili seeds are also taken. Gunpowder, that's where the name comes in from. A spice shot in your mouth. This is going to take at least 12 to 15 minutes. Let's wait for that. All the ingredients have come down to room temperature. Let's add in some critical few ingredients. The first one, of course, is Asafoetida, also known as hing. Now, in case you're using it in the powdered form, the way I am, you can add it just like that at this stage. In any case, you're using the stone or the entire piece of Asafoetida. You need to crush it lightly and kind of pan-sear it just lightly. The next is jaggery. My mouth is already salivating. Now, this one is black jaggery, but you can use yellow jaggery and that's absolutely fine. Last and final, salt of Zakanda. Remember this? There's nothing like that. Let's add in salt. Regular table salt. Now you can add in a tablespoon for this recipe and this should work perfectly well. Proportionally, you can keep increasing, decreasing or as per your family preference. Let's mix all of this well, and finally, this needs to be crushed, coarse and powder. Somewhere in middle, you'll kind of understand when you do it yourself. Neither coarse nor completely powdered. Now, this quantity of Milagai Podi ingredients would give you somewhere around 200 to 220 grams of the spice powder, which would not be more than 15 to 20 portions. So you can increase this accordingly. Let's grind this now. Well, midway, it's also important to check this and just kind of bring it all back to life. Just a little more blitzing, and this would be perfectly done. With this, the gunpowder is done and ready. Let's transfer this in the same bowl because this also has some salt left in the bowl. This way, of course, you won't need more salt, and again, there'd be no wastage. One final mix. You can just keep this out for around 10 to 15 minutes for this also now to come down to room temperature. Because of the grinding or powdering, it would have just warmed up slightly. The gunpowder or the Milagai Podi is done and ready. Let me quickly show you how to make a condiment out of this. Now, it's very simple. All you do is take this powder in a plate, you add in gingerly oil or ghee or coconut oil. The choice is completely yours. And then you just kind of smear it on top of idli. Taking a generous portion of this, create like a little well or a depression and add in oil. With the help of your index finger, just bring all of this together. This condiment is done and ready. Let's take an idli and dunk this straight like so. Roll it nicely and generously. Flip it over. With this, Milagai Podi or gunpowder is done and ready, and I've also shown you how to make it and serve it to your family and friends. In case you're thinking how to make the most perfect batter for idli, do check the description box below. On that note, do not forget to stay tuned to Rajshri Food. Bye for now.